Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Pregame Show Network. I'm Tali Carr, Atlanta, Georgia, HBCU Game Day Studios. You are watching the Rewind. We have a lot to catch up on because there has been news. When is there not news? With the University of Colorado and Deion Sanders and our guy, Uncle Neely, joining us at about 5 seconds. He had some behind-the-scenes access that was pretty cool, and I want to hear all about it. So let's go to the man, the myth, the legend, live from Boulder, Colorado. Uncle Neely, what's up, brother?
They call him Tollycarr. Man, no one puts on for the ATL like Tolly Carr and Usher, so I had to bring you in with some Usher, Tolly Carr.
Hey, Neely, you don't have a special hat. You don't have sunglasses. You don't. Well, what's up, man? You just gotta chilling today.
Exactly. Just chilling. This is one of those days where we don't have a structured practice outside. So we're working team meetings, film review, player development, but I don't need to have sunglasses because we're not outside today.
All right, Neely, you were outside last week, over the weekend. You had wheels up with Coach Prime. Tell us all about it.
Oh man, what a wonderful opportunity! Coach Prime invited me to take a trip to Canton, Ohio, where he was going to present Devin Hester with his Hall of Fame jacket. So made that trip with Coach, and to see him with the other Hall of Famers and the admiration that they have for our head coach here was unbelievable. It was surreal, once in a lifetime opportunity. Can't thank him enough for making that trip with him.
All right, Neely, so you're around Coach Prime all the time, right? But do you ever run into some scenarios where you're like, it just makes you like remember instantly on the spot, like, oh yeah, he is my favorite football player's favorite player?
Absolutely, Holly. No better example than the trip I'm referring to. I always thought of the Hall of Fame of it's the Hall of Fame, but when you get inside that room with them, there are levels to the Hall of Fame, and you see that he's at the tip top of it because all the members that were present made their way to him to shake his hand, ask him how he was doing, ask him how Warren Sapp, another Hall of Famer who was present there and also coaching at Colorado, how he was doing. And all of them offered their help. Because one thing we got to keep in mind, he's the only head coach with a gold jacket. They all want him to do well.
Neely, what is it like, man, to see guys that are so accustomed to people coming up to them? I'm not gonna put words in your mouth and say that they were lined up, but when they make that beeline for Coach Prime, you're like, oh man, that's Devin Hester, that's this guy, there's that guy, man. They can't wait to talk to Coach Prime.
Well, it was just like that. There was a line, and people saw that the line was forming to speak to Coach Prime. They got in that line, and everybody who came through the door made their way to him. It was just surreal to see, because again, he is a Hall of Famer. We can appreciate that and understand that. But the respect that he has from the other Hall of Famers, it really was something that was very telling with relationship capital, the way they admire him and look up to him. There are levels to this thing called the Hall of Fame, Tolly. And so he's at the top of it.
All right, Neely, when I'm on a plane, I'm back in the back. I'm not even first class, man. I'm flying coach. Neely, what is the snack game like when you're on the Gulf Stream or whatever it's called that you fancy folks ride when you need to get there and not go through TSA pre-check? What's the snack game like riding with Coach Prime up, 20,000 feet or whatever the altitude is?
Snack game is on 100. It's full. The pilot comes out and lets you know where they are, where the beverages are, and no matter where you're going, even Neely can't get all the snacks before we land. So you don't have to worry about running out. Snacks galore.
All right, I saw you had some video. I don't know if it was for public consumption or you just sent it to me. But Coach Prime was catching some Z's on the plane. Did you make was that prime time to go back to the snack bin when Coach falls asleep?
Well, Coach has so eloquently said Neely ain't gonna miss no meals, so I don't have to sneak to get a snack. So whether he's asleep or awake, Neely gonna get that snack. And oftentimes he says, "Pass me one too."
That is something, man. All right, so Neely, you had some content this week. You talked to the executive chef, Chef Solomon, and once again, Neely, I'm just looking at the video here, man, and the thing that keeps coming up, brother, is oxtails. And I know, having married into a family of Jamaican descent, brother, those oxtails will put you to sleep. That has to be dinner only, right? There's no way you're going to eat an oxtail and go out and do anything other than sleep.
We've had them for lunch before, but they were dinner menu that day. But oxtails also, everybody can't cook them, Tolly. You got to know what you're doing and be patient with them.
Yeah.
And so people enjoy that they can come here to Colorado and get food from the South, get food from the East Coast, get food from the Caribbean, you name it. And Chef Carl Solomon, man, does a wonderful job. We used to put out little segments daily, about what the team was eating. So we thought best this year, let's just give them a week at a time so you can just see what is all consumed in a 7-day period. And now we're going to start diving into how much that even costs to provide these athletes 3 meals a day, 7 days a week.
Neely, you don't have to give us the exact number there, but I would imagine that's some serious bread, literally and figuratively.
I know I ain't got it on me.
Man, me either, Neely. Me either. What have you developed a favorite? We often joke about, you and the mess hall, the dining hall, the training table, whatever you want to call it. But after being exposed to the cooking wares of Chef Solomon for over a year now, have you developed a favorite? Top 3?
I absolutely have, and it's going to shock you, Tolly, because out of the oxtails, the lobster tails, the ribeye steaks, the T-bone steaks, out of all the stuff that he throws at us, my favorite is the simple one. I love when he has grilled cheese sandwiches and tomato bisque soup.
Neely, I can hook that. Come on, Neely, come see your boy. I am pretty good at grilled cheese and not even using the iron. I mean, I can do it on the stove for you, brother.
But now, this ain't no Raleigh Durham cheese. Now we got some high grade quality, nice cheese going on these sandwiches.
I'm from Raleigh, man. Why do y'all love to attach Raleigh Durham? There are two separate places. I'm from Raleigh, okay? We don't always fool with the folks from Durham like that.
I just understand that when it comes to cheese, that whole area get the same kind of cheese.
Look, man,
it's like the DFW in Dallas. I mean, you gonna lump Fort Worth in with it.
Look, Neely, I grew up maybe there were some trips to get the government cheese when I was a kid. That stuff that stuff does not melt. You're not going to make a grilled cheese anything. You might put something between 2 slices of cheese, government cheese, and melt what's in the middle. But you are not going to melt that government cheese.
See, now you're with me, Tolly. That's what I was trying to hint to the people.
Why are you beating around the bush, Neely? I'm a well-versed man.
That we not using that cinder block cheese up here now. This is some high quality grade A cheese on these sandwiches.
Neely, what was it even made of? Because it literally would not melt. I don't even know how we digested that as children.
It was yellow concrete.
I think that was it. I think that was it. That was absolutely it. All right, let's talk about some things on the field. We've had some more practices. We've had over a week's worth. What are you seeing? What's been developing out there? What's surprising you? What are you enjoying? Give us the deets on since the last time we talked in practice at Colorado.
Sure. I think from our last talk to now, what is happening, you're seeing the players get more and more into football shape. When you come off of that summer conditioning program and that cardio, it still doesn't necessarily translate to football conditioning and what you have to play football. But after a week of that, I think these players are now, approaching and getting into football game day shape. We're about 22 days out from the first game, so that's perfect timing. I think that you're going to see on the offense side of the ball, the installations has been going well, just like it is in most situations in training camp. The defense is slightly ahead. They've been more dominant with Trevor Woods piling up the interceptions when he's going against the QB2 and the 2 offense. But I like where this team is headed. There's been some chess playing with the offensive line. I think who the best 5 or 6 to 7 guys are, but now who are the best 5 that play together. So Phil Lodeholt has been doing some switching up during practice and moving people across the board. And shout out to Tyler Brown, transferred from Jackson State, who had to sit out last year because his NCAA waiver, but he has played every position on the offensive line.
Oh, I know he's just been it. I'm not saying that players out there aren't hungry, but Neely, he has to have just like a little extra edge after having to sit out last year.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think last year you had some of the HBCU guys who had that chip on their shoulder as far as wanting to show the world there by the Pac-12 that they could play at this level. I think some of that now has been proven to where that chip doesn't necessarily exist or is as big as it was, but that Tyler Brown chip certainly does. Coach Phil Lodeho will tell you he's the strongest offensive lineman I've ever been around, and this is a guy who's played at the NFL and coached Oklahoma, Ole Miss, you name it. Tyler Brown is a beast out there, and he cannot wait to show the world what he can do. And the fact that he can do it from tackle to guard to center to guard to tackle is just phenomenal.
All right, Neely, talk to the people, man. Let us know. You brag about the weather in Boulder. You brag about how there's no mosquitoes. You don't see flies. You're just living this lavish life out there, man. But Neely, I'm listening to you talk, man. It sounds like the pressure is getting to you. Sound like Reverend Richard Adnoids today. What's up? Is it the elevated height there in Colorado? What's going on? Tighten you up, man.
Got back from Ohio, and maybe fist bumping with Emmitt Smith. I don't know what happened, but sinus pressure has built up, and being a mile closer to the sun ain't helping.
Look, man, when you get that little paradise, man, even paradise has a price. While I'm sitting here, getting my butt torn up by mosquitoes all summer long, I can at least enjoy the air pressure, I guess.
I tell you what, Tolly, if I have to put up with once a month, 2 or 3 days of having a swollen sinus cavity and not have to see a mosquito or a roach, I'll take it.
I might join you, Neely. I was outside the other day. I was like, it's not so much you get that summer fatigue because it's so hot and you're just tired of burning up, because I'd rather be hot than cold. I just get tired of the mosquitoes, man. It just reaches a point in August where they just wear you down because they are on your butt 9 o'clock in the morning, as soon as you walk out of the door.
And the crazy part is when you feel them and pop them, it's already too late.
Oh, they've already had their Chef Solomon buffet on your wrist by the time that you find them. All right, here's a good segue when you talk about nuisance of life, if you will. Neely, there's an economy around taking shots at Deion Sanders University there, Colorado. And Neely, I've just saw it buzzing and percolating on your timeline. Another one of those pieces where Colorado's locker room is just disarray. You got all this action going on. You got money and guns and all this stuff. And I'm just looking and I'm like, Neely, for a man, now I haven't stepped foot in Boulder in my life. I just lived the Coach Prime experience through Neely. I'm like, Neely, now you mean to tell me a couple of things, me not knowing nothing. You mean to tell me in a program where you cannot go into a meeting room with your cell phone, earrings, the wrong socks, like you got to be buttoned up to a T. You want me to believe that there's that, but then there's just like this total disarray that no one knows about or is allowing to happen. And you're also telling me that an African-American coach took over, and these are just facts. This is not me trying to disparage anyone. Took over one of the liliest white programs in the country. The numbers will back this up when you look at the demographics. And he just bought the hood there, and it's just wild and going crazy, and ain't nobody said nothing. I don't know a lot, Neely, but the facts ain't facting to me.
No, that math, that math ain't mathing. As much as we show in this program, you would have seen it. You'd have seen it in the background by now. Shout out to Grand Theft Auto. The author of that article compared it to Grand Theft Auto, which is one of my favorite games to play. So if it was really like that around here, I wouldn't have to play the game so much. I could just live up here. But when you talk about a coach who has been stressing rules and discipline, and people applaud, him embracing even the players on the team who are fathers and being a father figure in people's lives, and putting people out of meeting for phones, making sure people at practice have the right socks on, but yet and still, as this person alluded to, there's guns and gambling in the locker room and nobody's saying anything. That just doesn't add up. Like, it just doesn't even make sense. There's no way that you can have this one level of discipline in the same building and another room just down the hall is lacking discipline whatsoever. What I find most intriguing, interesting, and telling about all this, it always comes not just from a former player, but an unnamed former player. And there's no chance for rebuttal. When you have new players come in, they don't see any of that's been alleged to take place. But every time somebody goes out and they go out under a cloud because they couldn't perform here, now they got something to say. Why is it never being said while they're here or when it's happening? Because it ain't happening.
Well, two other things I will note. Neely, one, if there was a high-stakes poker game, you would be on this show shirtless because you would get in on it and lose your shirt, literally. So Neely comes fully dressed, at least from the waist up, during every show. So I know that's not going on. But seriously, Neely, I've noticed one thing from Coach Prime's journey as a college head coach at Jackson State and Colorado. Neely, it's really good when you can attach your name, Coach Prime. You can kind of live through the benefits of that sunlight. But I have noticed, Neely, when you are no longer associated with Coach Prime through either his decision or your actions or however it may be, hurt feelings. Boy, you get a lot of anonymous diss when that disassociation occurs, however it happens.
Yeah, hurt people hurt people. We've had former players leave here, and these were players that left, their old will in a good standing, no issues with the program. And they have told us that media outlets have reached out to them begging for a story, and they sit down to do a story with them, and all the questions are about, well, what negative happened? And then when they don't give them anything because there's nothing to give, the story never runs. So these outlets, because of this clickbait sensation, because of the things associated with Coach Prime, move the numbers, because they're not internal access covering the positive story, they sit on the outside and they make up the negative because all they want you to do is click it. But when you do click it and read it, there's no substantiation to it, no named credible source, no rebuttal comment from the other side. That ain't journalism, man. That's clickbait.
Neely, we talk about this all the time, and the reason we talk about it so much is because I still don't think people fully grasp the level of economy that exists and is created by the presence of Deion Sanders. Look, you can write articles and produce content that's just straight down the middle. It can be, you can carry water for Coach Prime if that's what you want to call it. You can do that. Yeah. And you can just go all in to the point where you just, have disinformation, misinformation, exaggerated information, whatever you want to call it. And there is an audience and economy for all of that.
And, we talked earlier about the trip to the Hall of Fame. When I look around the room at those guys, God bless them, but nobody's still writing clickbait articles about them. This guy, Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, has remained relevant and hadn't touched the football field as a player in 25 years. But people still want to attach themselves to this story because they know the story is going to get eyeballs on it, and eyeballs brings dollars. There's a whole micro economy out there unassociated with Coach Sanders directly, but totally associated with him virtually, where they just throw sticks and stones and they're able to build their house with it because people are going to click it when it says Deion Sanders, Coach Prime.
I mean, his coverage to me equates to the same infrastructure, if you will, or at least it's approaching that of political coverage. I mean, there's left, center, right. Like, it's all just out there.
Yeah. And then there's room for it, because you look at the presidential race that's taking place. Doesn't matter which side you're on, it's going to make the news. Doesn't matter how credible the story is, it's going to make the news. And you're exactly right. People discuss Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, Colorado football at the level that they do national politics.
I mean, Neely, we're literally having conversations on reputable networks about what is black. How do you become black? What is a black job? When did you become black? And I'm like, these are really stupid questions, but like we're having like think tank conversations about them, and it just shows, you know, for the American
Well, let me tell
public, you can take them whichever direction you want to take them.
let me tell you this, Tyler. Let me be on the record. I've been black since June 18th, 1971, because that's when I was born. And I absolutely love and I am blessed to have my current black job.
I'm with you, man. Not a few years down the road. But Neely, I did a funny story. I did not really fully embrace that I was black until the fourth grade. I didn't, not because I was like, I'm black, I don't want to be black. I was so much lighter than everybody in my family, and I didn't fully understand. I just thought whatever you look like was like the color you was like you would a box of crayons. But
Yeah.
there was this girl in the fourth grade, this little white girl that I liked, and I tried to be her little boyfriend, and she said, I can't date black people. I then knew, Neely, I was black. It was no doubting beyond that. It sounds crazy when I tell that story, but I didn't. Growing up as a kid, I was like, yeah, this is my family, but y'all black. I'm a little beige over here.
Yeah. And I'm finna go over here with
Little Sally from the valley.
Karen.
He was like, no, you
She's like,
not.
no, I see that hair.
Yeah, my mom was like, tried to tell you, little boy. Anyway, Neely, what
She
are
said, you ain't coming over my house with them nostrils sucking all the air out the house.
Oh God, Neely, what do we have coming up, man? You usually break down kind of schedule wise. I know we're going to have at some point some controlled. I know I got to use the right words, Neely. I don't want to say scrimmage. Tell me the language and what we can expect.
No, you just hit it. As you move into 21 days to that first game, when we get to these Saturdays, you're going to have some scrimmages. This week, you'll begin to have practices with officials at practice so that the players learn how to practice within the rules so that they can play within the rules. Everyone remembers last year, Deion Sanders being one of the most sacked quarterbacks in college football. But we tend to dismiss or overlook that this team was number 2 in penalties, total penalties, not number 2 in not getting them. Number 2 is in getting a hell of a lot of them. So out of 130 colleges, you were number 2 penalized most team. So that has to be cleaned up. And the way you do that is you practice like it's a game. You bring in officials to cover practice and call practice to make sure you're not doing that. It's also why you stress discipline at the cafeteria table with the phones up or no phones in meeting or making sure your socks are this way, all those little details. Because Coach Prime will tell you that a guy who shows up to a meeting late is a guy who jumps off sides. A guy who has on a different color socks is a guy who gets a personal foul. So all this discipline stuff leans toward actual game time when we can get away from being penalized, because that is going to be the key to the successful season.
Neely, when I think back, I think the penalty that had me yelling at my TV the most last year was the offsides, maybe? I feel like there was a lot of, all right, we got them in 3rd and long, or, it's 4th and short, and they're thinking about going for it, and boy, those offsides. And I don't have the math on that, but just going back through my emotional register, I feel like it was the offsides that really got under my skin last year.
Sure, those pre-snap penalties. The offensive line false starting before the ball was snapped. The defense jumping off sides, and it was 3rd and 4. And offsides is a 5-yard penalty. And now you gave them a first down, and now they score after you gave them the first down. Keep this in mind, Tyler. 5 games lost by 8 points or less. That means 1 possession. And you're the 2nd most penalized team. Everybody remembers the sacks, but there's really not a game you can point to that the game was lost because of a quote-unquote sack. But there are a lot of games you can point to that penalties knocked us out of the game.
Absolutely. And then you're playing catch-up, which means you got to throw the ball, which opens you up for more opportunities to get sacked. So there's a little hand-in-hand correlation there. Brother, what is the one thing between now and the next time we have a rewind here on the Pregame Show Network that you think you'll be focusing in on practice and watching? That's one question. Maybe some X's and O's things. The second question, content-wise, what can we look forward to here over the next few days on the Pregame Show Network?
Well, X's and O's, when we do our next week's rewind, I think we're going to have a clearer picture of that potential depth chart. I think that's starting to emerge now. The spring is known for evaluation. Fall camp is known for validation. And I think some guys, now we're approaching 2 weeks in, are beginning to get validated that I think that's going to be our guy. When you get to that third week, you start to see more reps toward that person. So I think when we sit down and talk again, we have some understandings of who's on that offensive line, who's going to be RB1. We know who QB1 is. We know who wide receiver 1 and DB1 is. We got Travis Shador. We got that checked. I think some of those other things are going to start to become clearer to us as we move through camp. Content-wise, we're going to be back into this season mode, if you will. So, of course, the rewind, this show will be popping off. But don't forget about the big boys, the Whistle, Wednesdays with Warren. Pretty much solid. We have all 7 days of the week covered now with content.
Now, Neely, people are mad now. Coach Sapp needed a little couple of weeks to unwind before fall camp got underway, so they were looking forward to it. It's been back in rotation now. I know you guys shot some content today as we speak that you'll have coming out soon. Any little things we can look forward to with Wednesdays with Warren?
Today's conversation was a really great one about the Hall of Fame, his experience of being there, why he goes back each year, and what he's gleaned from just what he calls the best fraternity known to man, because it's a team that even when you die, you don't leave the team and you can't be traded off. And so once you're in the Hall of Fame, you're in the Hall of Fame. And to sit here and have that conversation with Warren Sapp, I think people are going to get a new and refreshed how his thinking is about what he accomplished in football.
All right, well, that has been this week's edition of the Pregame Show Rewind right here on the Pregame Show Network. I'm Tali Carr, Atlanta, Georgia, the HBCU Game Day Studios. We love to work together with our brother, as always, every week on the Pregame Show Network for these joint collaborations. Neely, we successfully got through a show without Miles. Miles is out of the country. You and I have been talking. You see me, I've been looking down, kind of directing the show. So it was a success this week, man. We brothers can just get it done.
Yeah, brothers gonna work it out. That's what Public Enemy said. I love that song. But I got one question, Tolly. If you can go to that main shot with you at the desk.
Okay. Let's go back here. I'm gonna click on that right there. Bam, there it is.
Yeah, that one. I love the front of that desk with the Rewind logo on it. My only question is, are we ever gonna fully charge that battery?
I'm looking off at the monitor there. We got 3 out of 4. We got three out of 4.
It's functional. I just never seen it fully charged.
Neely, I do judge people, Neely. I judge people when they post screenshots of things. The first thing I look at is how much battery they have up in the corner when they screenshot stuff from their phone. If your battery is in the yellow, I do judge you, because who walks around with their phone under 50%? Like, who does that?
I got 2 things I judge people on, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. When there is a posting and you're at home and you recorded something, if I hear that smoke detector beeping in the background, my comment is not going to be about what you're talking about. It's going to be about put that battery in that smoke detector. And then when I'm over somebody's house, if that microwave clock is on zeros because you don't want to put the time in, I'm going to walk over there and put the time in.
Don't come to my house. And I'm a stickler. It's my wife or my children. So one of those groups of people. They go through and they try to set the time to cook their food, and they do it on the clock, and then they do it right, and then the clock always stays on. It drives me crazy, but I have given up that fight. But if you come to my house, I can tell you that microwave is going to be on zeros.
But your smoke detector ain't beeping.
Not this week. It is on my honey-do list to replace. My wife has a list. One of the things we got to do is update the smoke detectors just because they're old. But they're not beeping. Not at the moment. Finding that 9-volt, man. That's you know, you got to go deep in Target to get that 9-volt. They don't have it up by the register, so you got to go searching for that thing.
Man, back in our day, Tyler, the batteries were at the register, the bubble gum, the thing to blow the bubbles with, the paddle ball, all the stuff that you want to ask your mama to, hey, can I get that too? It was at the register. The batteries had to be at the register.
Hey, and I had to get that battery that had the black cat on it and the little, it was like a little red circle or something, and the black cat, like that was the only battery. I didn't have time for the Energizer, Duracell. I needed that black cat battery.
How old were you when somebody finally talked you into putting your tongue on the battery?
I can taste it right now, Neely. I have the recall that I can taste I can taste it in my mouth right
now. Nothing like
it. Not one of my better days, but yes, I can taste it. All right, that's it for the Rewind right here on the Pregame Show Network. From Atlanta, I'm Tolly Carr. Wheels down for now, but you never know when he's wheels up. We'll hear the story. Uncle Neely in Boulder. We'll talk to you guys next week.
What's up, party people? It's your girl, Arlie Michelle, and I am here with the Pregame Show and the Harleywood Report, live and direct. Y'all were supposed to meet me last week, but somehow I did not send what I needed to send when I needed to send it. So, hey, I'm your girl, Arlie Michelle, and I do the entertainment report. Okay, y'all ready? Here we go. First up, aren't the Olympics exciting? OMG. Every race, everything, like you put the best of the best. That 100-meter race, I still think your torso cannot be the winner, but I understand that has been the case in forever. I still think that Jamaican did it, but shouts out to the USA for winning gold. Woo-woo, let's go USA. Did you see that 400-meter race where Quincy Hall came from back there to up here to win the gold? I feel so bad for the dude in Trinidad and Tobago because he was kicking butt. He was out there. What's funny to me on that race, though, everybody had the funniest form. Usually it's that, it's a little lean forward. All of them have for those of us who can't really run, we can get out there and run now because we're just going to look goofy and get there. You just got to get there. You just got to get there. Okay? You just got to get there. Next up, our boy Neely was arrested. Neely, what is going on? Well, turns out that they were kind of picking with Neely. The arrest was because they claimed they had to. He won some money at the casino. They claimed they got to do a background check. Well, he was like, that ain't what really happens. I've won money here before. Larger sums, no background check. So what's the what? Anyway, he complies. There's a 2018 warrant out for his arrest because he didn't have insurance when he got pulled over back in 2018. If he hadn't been a celebrity, they might let him go. Hey, bro, go figure that out. But instead, they go clink, clink, parade him through all of the wonderful little patrons in the casino and then arrest him. Well, now we have probable cause, or so we say, to check your pockets. And they find ecstasy, or so they say. So we're going to see what happens. Because why Neely need X? His baby mama can't take nothing. Anyway, well, guys, that's my time. It's your girl, Arlie Michelle, with the Arlie Report for the Pregame Show. See you next time.